everyone, it's your favorite atomic blonde here. How you all doing? Certain parts of the UK are drowning under snow. Obviously down here we had a little flurry earlier and it's gone already, so but I hope you're surviving the cold snap here in the UK. I think it was like -12 in parts of the country today, and I think we got about -5 this morning. So I hate the winter. I'm not built for winter. But that's not why I'm here. Had to jump on and obviously just comment. Obviously, my last video, I gave my sort of final thoughts on Stranger Things season 5. And as the internet does what it does, and it's in meltdown, kind of. I think as per my review, I was a bit like, it was all a bit too easy. I thought there was going to be a twist. There had to be something more to this. But it was okay. Overall, it was kind of entertaining. Wasn't the best ending it could have been. Still, there's unanswered questions, etc., etc., etc. Go check out that review. But obviously, I'm not the only person that said this. And the absolutely mega fans who have just been down all the rabbit holes have now come up with Conformity Gate. So apparently tomorrow, guys, we're going to get an episode 9 of season 5, apparently. And everything we saw in the epilogue or the final battle was all in Vecna's mind. This is what the internet thinks. Now, I get it, you're a massive fan, you put your faith in the Duffer Brothers, and then you got the finale and went, oh, is that it then? And what about this character? And what about this character? And what about this hanging thread? What about this? What about this? As I've said on my review, I think the main things like being there's no demi-dogs, no demi-gons, no demi-bats. It was all just far too easy, and the ending was all just everybody survived, everybody goes on to live happily ever after. Now, as I said, my thoughts on that was that I think it's a very 80s type TV film ending, but also I was a bit like, it felt a little bit like, really? That's okay, sure, let's go with that. So this Conformity Gate is basically saying in the epilogue, so starting when you look at the graduation scene, everybody's seeing exactly the same. They kind of got their hands crossed the way that Vecna did when he was still human, when he was like number 1. And there's 12 kids sitting there with sunglasses on, and there's always 12 kids to power the dimensions smashing into each other. It was alluded to in other previous seasons, or that the graduation gowns for the high school were actually green, and now they're orange, and orange is like prison jumpsuits. I mean, there's quite a lot of reaching going on here, but there's also some Easter eggs in the background where looks like a box or a board game or something that says, like, I think Mr. What's It or What's It on the side. It's got a few of the scenes, obviously alluding to Mr. What's It. Yeah. So is it just and then the sort of mid-credits, so we kind of had that comic version of the story going through, and it ends with a shot of the Stranger Things season 1 poster, kind of being a D&D game kind of thing, and the dice is showing 7. So this is why everybody's alluding to, and some people have done some really good conspiracy maths on this. So it's, so if you like, there's so many days between this and that, and this lands on this date, and this date is then the 7th, and the 7th is this. But anyway, so everybody's concluded that there's this mystery episode that's going to drop tomorrow. If that is the case, it would be the biggest pop culture coup twist in modern times, right? For a very long time, probably since season 1 of this show, which nearly 10 years ago, would we've had any kind of cultural phenomenon where that sort of ending, that landing, like, completely blindsides us, and everybody be like, Netflix, this is the greatest thing, like, in Duffer Brothers, they've got jobs for the rest of their lives, right? However, I think it's more likely that we are not going to get a new episode tomorrow. I think a lot of this is people were so hyped after season 4 because it was so good, and so much was just left unanswered. It was all too easy, and everybody lived happily ever after. That people were just so the super fans are just like, well, that can't be it. When I was watching a video from one of these super fans going, what did I just watch? Because the Duffer Brothers, they're cleverer than this, right? They're so meticulous. They're amazing. They have every detail mapped out. This can't be the ending that they're giving us. So they've created this very Stranger Things type narrative that they've created this. Or one super fan went as far to say there's a whole alternative season 5, which I think is definitely pushing it. I think all of us, right, would be blown away. Would love for there to be an episode 9, but makes the ending more meaningful or more that kind of that we're all looking for, and help wrap up some of what happened to certain characters that just disappeared. And the reason that some of these characters disappeared apparently is because Venkner's created this from Mike's mind, and there's gaps and this, that, and the other thing. So I think it'd be the greatest television coup of so far, or at least for a couple of decades, if an episode 9 drops tomorrow. I think the reality is as the internet is interneting, and it's trying to cope with the fact that the ending just wasn't quite where people wanted it to be. Happy to be proved wrong on that one. So what do you think about Conformity Gate? The other thing, the graduation, was that people were holding up signs, but there was nothing written on the signs and all these kind of things. So hey ho. Love to know your thoughts on Conformity Gate. Well, if it does drop tomorrow, that would be assuming if it's the same release schedule as all the others. We would know in the UK till 1 o'clock in the morning on the 8th anyway, so it wouldn't actually launch on the 8th here. Hey ho, but I'm not going to put money on it that there's a 9th. I bet they're probably, the Duffer Brothers and Netflix are probably kicking themselves right now going, crap, that would have been a really good idea. But as ever, fans always have better theories than generally what ends up being on our screens. So let me know what you think about Conformity Gate. Is it just wishful thinking, or you putting your money on there's a new episode tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. The other thing I had to obviously jump on and talk about for the 5th year running, Kathleen Kennedy's leaving Lucasfilm. Hey, this hasn't officially, as far as I can see, I've looked, I don't think Lucasfilm has officially announced this. Surprise, surprise. But it's yet another leak. I think the Puck broke it. The Puck also broke it last year that she was leaving, or sort of 2024 going into 25. Like I say, for the last 5 years, there's been leaks that she's been fired, that she's leaving. And then the best thing is her replacement, apparently, her job is so tough because she's such an amazing studio head and woman that to replace her, it's going to take 2 people. So they're going to split her job into 2, and it's going to take 2 people to do her job, of which one is obviously Dave Filoni. I mean, he had the 3rd worst rated show, Ahsoka. The only things worse, or were rated lower, were The Acolyte and Andor. And as much as Andor wasn't my cup of tea, I know a lot of people liked it, and actually, aesthetically and all those kind of things, it was, very well done. It just the pacing and stuff, I just could not get into the show, but a lot of people liked it, and it was actually, I think when you look at the other slot that we had, it was better quality. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So you got the man who gave us Ahsoka season 1 with lots of walking and folding arms, and not a lot else happening. But then you had Anakin vadering into Vader. It's so exciting in the World Between Worlds. So why on earth they would hand the reins over to this guy that he made a good two good cartoons, the Clone Wars and Rebels, which is aimed at a much younger audience. Certainly Rebels was. I tried to watch the Clone Wars, I couldn't really get into it, but people do like it, and that's absolutely fine. But this is kind of the only sort of successful thing that Dave Filoni has managed to produce. everything else that's kind of happened was either on Favreau's watch, or Dave Filoni was the creative consultant on, Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi, which are all absolute disasters. This guy's there giving him guidance because he's, he is the chosen one from George Lucas or whatever, and he gave us utter tripe. So if anybody thinks that anything's going to get any better anytime soon, it ain't. Especially with like Dave Filoni taking over, and I don't know why anybody thinks that's a good idea, but who knows? They all seem a bit of a screw loose over there at Lucasfilm. So let's keep doing the same thing and then wonder why we don't get a different outcome. Oh, can't imagine what's going on there. So again, love to know your thoughts on the whole KK. Is she in? Is she out? Shake it all about. It's absolutely insane that we're still getting leaks that she's leaving, say, like 5 years later. It's people have made whole channels out of Kathleen Kennedy's leaving Lucasfilm, and here we are. I think we'll believe it when we see it, and let's face it, she ain't going nowhere until she wants to go somewhere. So, she knows where all the bodies are buried. So good on her, I say. But shame she's absolutely destroyed one of the best IPs that was ever created. But there you go. What can you do? What's up, KK? So, as always, let me know what you think in the comments below. Where are you hedging your bets on both of these things? Is KK out? Are we getting episode 9 tomorrow? Let me know. So just a short one, just wanted to jump on and talk about those couple of things. So it's just like a bonkers start to 2026. Let it continue. Hey guys, gotta love the optimism if nothing else. So you take care now, and I'll be back soon, either with reviews or a little bit more of the bonkers pop chat. And certainly if there is an episode 9, I will be back. Take care now. Bye-bye.